What's happening, y'all? This is Todd Wilson with another episode of Elevate Your Game. Today, we have entrepreneur, former college player. He's the program director
of One Goal Basketball,
One Goal Basketball, and the podcast Scorers Society.
Yep.
It is just uplifting the community of having a strong mindset.
Absolutely.
Man, we connected over Instagram. I had to have him come in to speak to you guys about his experience and what he's doing in the community, man. Really support what he's doing and just getting the information out there. Mr. Sean Amos.
Oh, man, appreciate you.
No,
Thanks for having me.
No, 100%, man.
Thanks for having me.
We love to start this place off with the wall of hoop movies. Your favorite hoop movie of all time and why?
He Got Game. He Got Game is definitely my favorite movie. It's one of the movies that inspired me to play basketball, that gave me like a vision for basketball. Like Above the Rim was like the first one, but He Got Game, when I was watching Jesus Shuttlesworth, aka Ray Allen, he had the vision to go to school. And I've grown up in Philly, you know, I was kind of like, I'm in the inner city of Philly, so I was doing knucklehead stuff with a bunch of other knuckleheads, right? But I was still playing ball a little bit, wasn't too serious about it. And I remember just watching that movie and everyone was on about going to college. What college you want to go to? What college you want to go to? And I was thinking to myself, this is the way out. This is the way out of the inner city. If I can get a basketball scholarship, I can go to college and explore the world. So, excuse me. So that's the movie that really kept me motivated every day.
That's dope. I rarely hear that a movie or that movie, like this is our number one favorite movie when people come in here is He Got Game probably, and hearing it that's what inspired you to go to college. Like I don't know if they knew the impact of that part, right? They're trying to tell a story about, you know, father, son, and all this other stuff, but man, we get encouraged to go to college.
No, I watch this about every day before working out. I watch this movie. Like if I didn't watch all of it, I watched some of it. If you play this movie right now, I can recite word for
verbatim.
Verbatim, bro. I promise.
That's dope. That's dope. No, I don't know if I go verbatim, but I definitely know. I know the movie for sure. So, so when did you fall in love with basketball?
You know what? I want to say I was a late bloomer, bro. Like 13, 14 years old. I didn't really do an actual basketball drill until 14 years old, and like I said, just growing up in the inner city, you know, you're around a bunch of knuckleheads and you start to see their demise. You start to see them getting locked up. You start to see them getting into more trouble in school. They start smoking weed or whatever the case may be. That wasn't me. That wasn't in my heart. Don't get me wrong, they were my friends. You know, I tried to hang with them as much as possible. And I remember one day my friend, my childhood friend, Kyrie Brown, he called me one day and said, hey, why don't you try this AAU thing? Why don't you try this AAU practice? And I didn't know what AAU was, but he was telling me that they was traveling. You know, it was like a tournament called Charlie Weber. I don't know if you remember or familiar with it, but it was like in Connecticut, and I wanted to travel, so I was just like, let me go check this out. And I never forget walking in that gym and seeing all the talent in there and how they were embraced by all the older guys and coaches and whatnot. And I said, man, the stuff that my knucklehead friends are doing is a waste of time. With this right here, this is gonna get me there. So like 13, 14, I made a commitment to it.
Man, that's dope. And then did you have adults, mentors in your life pushing you that way? Because, you know, I think for a 13 or 14-year-old kid, if you're influenced by your friends, right, you have to have someone who's trying to keep you on a straight line. So talk about that experience in your life and having people to keep you on that straight and narrow.
Yeah, I had two coaches, Marvin DeBose and Bobby Pimbleton. Really good guys. It's funny how I met them. I asked them for like $1 or something like that. It was like, didn't your parents ever tell you not to ask strangers for money? And then they laughed about it. They ended up giving me $1. And I was already tall, so I was like, for my age anyway, I was about 5'10" or something like that. I was like in the 8th grade, and they was like, man, why don't you come down here or whatever and play on our team? And through there we build a bond, right? Like there was days where we would have life talks more than we would practice, right? So practice would be about 2 hours. We'll sit in the office and have life talks for about 3 hours. And they'll, drive me home. We'll still have more life talks, and they'll just try to make me aware of the things that can happen in the inner city. So, I fell in love with the conversations as well as fell in love with the game of basketball, but they kept me grounded. They kept me in it. They was the type of coaches where we would go on tournaments and, they paying for the food for the kids and stuff like that. They picking the kids up, so that's why coaching is dear, me being a coach is dear to my heart, because I just want to make sure I'm doing the same thing they did for me.
100%. I was most impacted. My parents were great, but the coaches in basketball, what they invested into me without wanting anything back then.
Right.
I think that was it was the organic part of the game, right? It was like that's what AAU basketball was. It's like, yo, we're doing this. Even I lived in the suburbs, I didn't have to deal with the inner city part. My mom moved me far away from the hood because she had to grow up in it. So she moved, we lived in Corona in the IE where it was the suburbs, but still our coaches just pick me up for every game and take me home, buy me food, and all those things just took care of me. Like, man, these people, they don't really even know me like that, but they showed all that love. And I feel like that's what's missing in today's game. Everybody else is out there to find the next kid to make them a paycheck, next person to win tournaments. Like, I didn't pick up a ball till I was 11, and the coaches invested into me. That's how I got good. It wasn't because I was just talented already, and I was able to earn a position to go play AAU, because you couldn't just go play AAU, not like you can now, right?
Not at all.
And so I feel like that is the piece, and I'm not saying coaches don't do it now, because there are some good coaches out there who are holistically coaching, right? But that's the part that's missing on a wider scale.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. Like what you were saying about coaches looking for players to win tournaments, right? Like there's no real general care in it. Obviously because the money's involved or whatnot. And that's the way I was brought up as far as being a coach. You got to care about the kids. And I think that's where I have my dilemma at this stage in my career of coaching. Because now it's not all, but some parents are just more so like, look, I put money into it, I want to see it right now. And it doesn't happen right now. It happens over time. Like I started playing ball 13, 14 years old, but I didn't see any recognition from it until I was almost 19, 20, my first year in college.
Yeah.
So it takes time. So during that time, you actually have to have a care for the child. You have to have, outside of them playing basketball.
Yes.
So now you have kids who just jumping from team to team, and they're not really learning or going through the process. You playing on one team that you're the star player, and then you're playing on another team where you're not really soaking in the wins, the losses, the ups, the downs. You're just really running from it. Yep. So that's what I kind of struggle with as an older coach now.
No, 100%. Yeah. I think we all of us are at that place, right, where we're starting to really see that change, and it's what's missing. And so, my goal is for the people who do know, like, yo, let's get it right? And the families and kids and parents who don't want to be invested into developing the right way and sticking through the adversity, then they're going to handle themselves.
Right.
They're going to, keep jumping from team to team and see it's not all beautiful when they go to try to make a varsity team in Southern California, because it ain't no joke out here.
No joke, bro.
So, all right, so you from the East Coast. I'm sure you think the East Coast is where the best basketball is. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Or do you see what we do on the West Coast? I mean,
you know what? I'll say the West Coast, I've always said this, West Coast is more skilled. I'll say the West Coast is more skilled for sure. I'll say the East Coast is more tough. And the reason why I say that, one, obviously, y'all have, like, the training culture out here is amazing, and I didn't experience until I moved here. Like, I didn't have someone train me until I was like 17 years old, 18 years old. Like, kids are being trained at like 9 years old, and it's been for a long time.
I've had 6-year-old clients.
Yeah. So this has been for a while. This has been like the culture of basketball for California or the West Coast. East Coast, the thing is, we have a basketball court on every single corner, every neighborhood. So to actually be considered good or embraced by your neighborhood, you had to be better than a lot of people. And in order to be better than them, you got to be tougher than them.
Yeah.
You know, because this is the East Coast, bro. Like, there's a bunch of row houses. You see each other every day. It's that ego that's involved into it. So yeah, toughness is more of the East Coast thing, but West Coast is definitely more skilled.
And you got to survive that weather, man. I was out there last week. I was out there for hoop hall. Man, it is too cold, bro. I was like, yeah, this is why you get tough.
Yep.
Walking in this weather and thinking it's normal.
You walk in the weather, it's cold. Then let's say you go to a gym, and the gym is packed. And it's one court. It's not like you see the Maps or AIM where you got 9 basketball courts. It's literally one court, 20 guys. And some of the guys are in high school. Some of the guys used to play high school. Some of the guys are drug dealers. So you got to actually not literally fight, but fight your way on. And then if you're not a tough person or don't stand your ground, they're taking your winners. They're taking that opportunity you were sitting there waiting for. So you had to be tough out there. So yeah, there's a lot of things that factor into it.
I understand. I think there's a different level of toughness from West Coast kids, right? Because that talent and skill for sure. But my favorite, I went to some of these, Pangos and Team USA, and I'm watching all the kids from Philly. Man, I'm a fan. Like, they just play different. They got that, I think it's like that AI swag. I know he's from Virginia, but like that, I think AI kind of like, he's everybody, all of our whole generation, like we all looked up to AI. But for sure in Philly was like, yo, that's it, right?
Yeah, me wearing braids, bro. I grew my hair from braids.
Man, I had so many teammates who had the only strong survive tattoo in college. Like everybody had that, but that sort of toughness. Like I even picked that up from him. Like, yo, he don't back down from nobody. He don't care how big they are. And so that mentality even helped me. And you could see that in all the East Coast players even now. Like they don't smile on the court, man, and it's because this is life or death. It feels like that seriousness of the game. Where I see a kid who's more talented out here on the West Coast, who lives a more comfortable life. They're way more talented, but they get pumped. Yeah. They will get pumped. So.
Like I said earlier, it was the way out for me. Like I came from a single parent household. I knew my mom wasn't in a financial place where she can support me going to college. So this was the only way for me. So when I went to schools or tried out for schools or played at schools, it was like even me or you. That was my mentality going into it. And you just learn it from being in Philly. Like once I got out of Philly, like even with I went to, my first junior college I went to was Luzerne. It was like 2 hours away from Philly. I just didn't want to go back. I didn't want to go back to Philly. Like I love Philly to death, but I just knew it was more out there, and I just had to use the tool of basketball to get there. And I think that's what the mentality that a lot of players had from there. Yeah. They just had that mentality, like this is it. This is the way my family gonna eat. This is the way I'm gonna eat. Type of thing.
Love that. Yeah. Love that. And what high school did you go to out in Philly?
Martin Luther King High School. So I can't think of no notable names that people would know, but they had amazing guys. A guy named DeJuan Robinson. DeJuan Robinson played for the University of Rhode Island, one of the all-time leading scorers. He actually had a little stint in the NBA for a while, but I think, like preseason pretty much. We got guys, Akeem Wright, played in Kansas State. The school I went to had 5 Division I players on it when I was in 10th grade. Oh, wow. Actually, DJ Stephen Jackson, all-time leading scorer for UTEP. So I played with some juggernauts in Philly for sure.
So you had to fight and claw your way through that. What was your high school experience like, and what was your development like? Coming late to the game, right? 13, 14, and being committed to the game at that time. What was that journey like through high school?
So 9th grade, I played JV and didn't really play much. So I don't know how I made varsity my sophomore year. Sophomore year, that was the year where we had about 5 Division I players. But I was a tough defender, and I just didn't want to play JV, so I rode the bench. If I can do it all over again, and this for all you guys, if you can develop on JV and have some playing time, play JV.
Man, talk to him.
My junior year was a little similar. But that was because I just didn't know my role yet. I didn't know what I can do yet. I was still trying to find myself. Obviously, when you first coming out, you're a scorer. You think you're a scorer.
You think you're a scorer.
You think you're a scorer. So you want to score, but like I said, I had guys who went on to college and led their school in all-time scoring.
Right.
So I wasn't that guy. And my senior year, was my opportunity to be a captain, which I was, and we had a terrible year. That's when I realized, like, I got to work on my leadership skills. I got to work on my game. And so I had a decent year as far as points, but it didn't mean anything because we didn't really win much. But yeah, that was my pretty much my high school experience, like just actually learning myself through the game of basketball, understanding what I can do and what I can't do, what I need to improve on. I think that's just part of the journey when you start late.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Man, that's amazing because you ended up playing university level basketball, though.
Yeah.
And so for those people who playing JV as a freshman and not playing a lot your sophomore year or junior year, like I suck or I can't make it. And like I have a kid who he started playing in middle school and he was catching up to the kids who were in the program and then recently surpassed them. Everybody who was in that class, and it's a very strong class. Now he's in a position to where he's moved around a little bit, and so he's not the best player on his team anymore. Again, and you could tell like he's a grinder. He's gonna work and he's gonna figure it out. But you could tell that the mentality piece. And I got to him. I told him, I was like, remember what you did in middle school when you beat all those people? Do it again in high school. And I said, guess what? You don't have to do it again in college too.
Right.
Where and he's going to a high major for college, but that mentality, that's going to keep happening to you.
Yep.
And you're going to be better than everybody, though, if you keep grinding and stay with that same mindset. And that's what it's about. It's like everybody's journey looks different. You could be this highly touted ranked player, Division I offers, all these things, and still be in this place where you're working for your spot. And those are the ones who make it and go far in this game. And so,
I mean, there are consistencies for sure. Like I said, even starting out with those, players who are in Division I, Division II, or whatever, over time, if we compare all our careers together, like from high school to college, those players eventually went Division II. If you look at the stats between all of us, I'm probably ranked third out of 15 guys who went Division I at one point.
wow.
And I think that just was consistency. I just was consistent. The same work ethic that I carried when I was 14 years old. I would go out and shovel snow off the court and go shoot around. I carried it in college. So I was able to outlast a lot of guys just being consistent, just being just hard-nosed about it, just knowing what I want. And I was still like in a competitive way. Like I didn't want to get to college and then kind of fall off. And I wanted to show people like, yo, I can be that person.
No,
So I think if no matter where you start, if you're consistent with it, it'll happen over time.
100%. Now, I low-key want to just go put snow on a court and see who's going to shovel it up to go play. Because I don't think none of these kids can do that.
No,
like,
I was the only one out there.
I used to play in 115-degree weather. My mom used to have to call me inside.
Yeah.
We out in the IE where it gets super hot in the summer. I'm hooping. Like, it is
115 is crazy.
150. No, it's wild. It's dumb. It's dumb. Like thinking back, like what in the world was I doing?
Yeah, bro.
But it was, you just sweating for no reason and just hooping.
So that's the love of the game, though, bro.
Yep. So your recruitment. So you end up going to a junior college, right? So
yeah.
Your best way to enter that college scene. What was your experience like in junior college, and how did it lead you get into that university level?
Well, the first junior college was like upstate Pennsylvania, so it was okay. It was I think the coaching could have been better because we were so divided, right? So half the team was from Philadelphia or parts of Pennsylvania. The other half was from New York. So every practice was Philly versus New York, to the point where it was fistfights at practice. Yeah. Over time, we all became friends. Been cool. We actually went to the state finals that year and lost. My freshman year, I averaged about 19 points. That's when I started to see the record. Like that's when I started to see all the hard work from 14 years old to 19. 4
or 5 years later.
Yeah. So, like I said, I think the coaching could have been better. So, a friend of mine, one of my best friends, Willis Gardner, we was just like, we're not going to waste another year here. So we started like emailing coaches, like personally ourselves, like, hey, we want to come to your tryout. We got some video. And it's like back in the day, like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, it wasn't no phones. It wasn't no none of that.
Right.
You couldn't check your email from your phone. And then, so we had to keep going back to the computer lab, checking our email. And so we tried out for some schools and couldn't find nothing by the end of the summer, right? Well, closer to the end of the summer. Willis, we call him Woo, so I'll say Woo. Woo had ran into a guy who he played at Rucker Park. Fresno State coach was there, and he liked Woo.
Vance Wahlberg?
I don't remember.
Okay.
So he liked Woo, and he was just like, hey, how would you like to play? And you know, he realized that his credits wouldn't transfer, so he introduced him to a school called Ohlone College in the Bay Area, where it was coached by my man John Peterson. And not my man, but he my man now. But right. And he went out there, and Woo went out there, and he told me, like, yo, you gotta come here, bro. It's a different level of basketball. Like, I thought I was killing it because I averaged 19 points. But when I ended up going out there and realized I didn't know nothing about basketball. I didn't even know how to jump stop. Like at 20, I think I was approaching like 20 years old. I didn't know how to do a proper jump stop. I didn't know the importance of when to pass out of gaps. I didn't know the importance of 2 feet plant on the catch. And that really changed my life. I actually averaged about 7 points there, right? But it was a 5-in, 5-out offense. It was like a platoon offense where 4 guys coming in at a time, 3 guys coming in at a time, because we was that talented. So the highest average on the team was about 11, 12 points, right? And that's why I realized, that's why I learned basketball. Like before that experience, it was more about basketball was a survival thing. Basketball was a toughness thing. Basketball was a thing that's going to get me out of the hood. But when I got to California, it was like, now I'm learning how to play basketball. Yeah. And
you got the dribble drive? Was it dribble drive?
Yeah, dribble drive offense. Yeah. 4 out, 1 in.
Yeah.
4 out, 1 in, bro. And obviously, you know, that's kind of like the game with East Coast players. Like at that time, everyone can really pretty much drive and can handle the ball. So, but yeah, that's when I learned, like, understood angles. That's why I understood keeping your driving line, how to score with 3 dribbles, you know, stuff like that. So that's when I realized, yo, I got more work to do. Yeah. But yeah, that was my experience. And once I got to junior college, so once that school, you know, it took me a while to adjust because I'm averaging 19 points at one junior college. Now he wanted me to average 7, and I just couldn't understand that, right? Until he sat me down and he said, listen, I know a bunch of coaches. I don't care if you average 7 or 17, you're still gonna go to the same level you're supposed to go to. And sure enough, you know, over time, you know, as the season started to play out, I started to realize, like, yo, everyone's still, they're all doing the same thing. You know, like no one is out playing anyone. It's just any given night, one of us can have it. Right. You know, and I found out I was going to go Division I. I was looking to go Division I. University of Houston was recruiting me, and I found out I was uneligible to play Division I because of a NCAA rule. I don't know if it still stands to this day, but it was a rule where if you redshirt or if you sit out a year, you can't go to school full time. I went full time.
Happened to me.
Yeah, I went to full time because I wanted the financial aid money. I wanted the financial aid money because I didn't have any.
Right.
So for $1,200, I lost my Division I opportunity. So it was a Division II school called Adams State University. It was a new coach, Mark Murdoch. He was the coach in there. He said he was going to play like the Warriors, like, you know, the We Believe Warriors. Yeah. So that was right up my alley, and we played a little bit like it. But you know, I went out there and I was like, you know what? It's a small town. I've never been in a small town. I'm gonna try it. And it was. Don't get me wrong, my basketball experience was good, but I would never do a small town again.
Where's Adams State now?
Alamosa, Colorado. So it was about 4 hours north of Denver. Yeah.
the middle of so you in like Montana, Wyoming, or
Yeah,
something,
yeah, exactly. No, middle of nowhere. The biggest thing is the Walmart. You'll go to a bar, you'll be the teachers at the bar with you.
Hey, Walmart be popping on Sundays though.
Absolutely,
Huh?
absolutely.
That's how it was in Kansas. I went with Dodge City. It was like, oh, yo, we going to Walmart on Sunday.
That's where you're gonna see everyone. All the people you don't see because you in class and you in practice, you're gonna see right at Walmart.
Yep. I want to go back to knowing the rules, man. Like understanding the eligibility part, right? So I did the same thing. I went to school full time because I stopped going to the junior college. Went to school full time. Ran out of eligibility real quick, and knowing to guide me in that space and how important it is for these parents to understand that part of the game versus, you know, if your kid could dunk or shoot threes like Curry, understanding that there's more to it. Just because, and you were prepared, you were good enough, you were capable of being a Division I player, but somebody else got your spot because they did it the right way.
Yep.
Right? And so how important it is to have that balance to making sure you have the right information from the right people to be where you want to be.
I mean, it's costly, bro. Like, you know, you don't have the right information, you can cost a lifetime opportunity. You know, that was a lifetime opportunity. I wish I could sit here and tell you, like, yeah, I had a great time at the University of Houston. You know, don't get me. I'm not. You know, my journey is my journey, and I'm not taking anything for granted. But that was the goal. Like when I was watching He Got Game, I wanted to play Division I basketball. And because you don't have the right information and I was just being a kid. I was 17 years old. At that time, I don't think I seen $1,000 all at once in my life before then. So they offered me $1,200. They get $1,200. I was checking the mail every day for that thing. And you know, I didn't. So yeah, like I said, the coaching at the other junior college like it wasn't good. There wasn't no guidance there. It wasn't no one checking, making sure like, hey, if you're going to sit out, you can't do 4 classes. You only can do 3 because you'll lose eligibility. They didn't care.
Yeah.
So, you know, having the information is vital because you can easily be a guy. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've seen it before where a guy is extremely talented, but he's playing at an NAIA school because he didn't have the right credits in high school, or he transferred too many times. So yeah, the information is crucial to all success.
100%. So your experience at Adams State, like you said, it was a cool career. Terrible town for your life,
like
for you and your life.
Heck yeah.
Did you try to pursue a professional career after leaving college, and you know how did it lead you coming back to California, or did you go come straight back to California after graduating, and what was that journey in between?
So after my last year at Adams State, we had a bad year, and we had a bad year. I did okay, right? Like I did okay, but it doesn't mean anything at Division II level when you have a bad year. But I got an opportunity to go to Iceland, so I had like an agent. Had a contract, but it wasn't a lot of money though. It was about, I forget, I want to say like $1,000, $1,200 a month or something like that. But I think, to be honest, man, I just think I was burnt out. I think I was kind of burnt out. You know, that process was long. I think I played so much basketball from 14 years old to 22, 23 years old. My family needed my help financially. So for me, again, this is where guidance come in at. Like I wish I had a older person to tell me, listen, your family is going to be fine. Everything is going to be okay. Take that opportunity, experience the world, because you never know what can come out of it. As a kid, I thought I knew everything. I was nearsighted. It's only $1,200. I'm worth more in America. I can work at a supermarket and make that, you know. But I'm not thinking of one day I can be talking to Todd talking about my professional career. You get me? Yeah. So that's where, you know, so that was the ending of my career at Adams State. You know, I had an opportunity to play in Iceland, but it just wasn't, you know, just being a kid, bro, just making adult decisions as a child. Yeah. And I think that's what kind of pushed me to coach, really, because if I had a coach, I didn't even check back in with my coaches from Philly on this type of stuff. You know, I thought I just knew it all. I thought I could do it all myself. I thought I had it under control. I thought it didn't matter. Like, you know, if I'm not getting paid enough money, it don't matter. But I wish I could have took that opportunity to be a professional, so I can teach kids more than what I know right now.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I've seen it both ways, right? Where somebody's like, you know what, I'm not going to do it, and they jump into their career, and you know, good things happen that way, right? You built something special with your program, your podcast, and you're doing all these things. And I've seen it the other way where I have.
Wait, 1 second, my fault. I'm sorry. It wasn't Iceland. I don't know. It's like somewhere in Europe though. But go ahead. My bad.
Okay,
bad.
all good.
I forget.
Whatever country, somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. Yeah.
Over yonder, right?
Yeah.
And I have a player who did that as well, like who took $1,200 for their first year, and it was trash.
Right.
He was sleeping. Literally, there was a jar holding the bed up where he was sleeping. Like it was not a great situation.
Yeah.
He hurried up and got out of that, but he's built to the spot now where he's making more money and experience in the world. He's gotten to travel the whole world because of basketball and to build out of it. And so it's kind of what you're saying. I just want to encourage people who are listening, like, yo, that little bit of money can open doors to something way bigger if you go and keep your head down and keep working and do that. But also on the other side, it's okay if basketball has that finish line at that point, you know, and that can grow as well. It's more about your mentality stepping into wherever you go that's going to open doors for you. And so there's always two sides to it. And as a hooper, though, we know the advice is like, if you can you continue to hoop and make money and you ain't got no real responsibilities, a wife, kids, you know, if you got to take care of your family, you got to take care of your family, go hoop for, I don't care how much money it is almost. Because we long for those days where I'm like, yo, I wish I just had, you know, that one chance to go hoop.
Yep.
So
no, for sure. I mean, like I said, I wish I could have took that opportunity. I just felt, I don't know. I mean, I felt it was so much pressure to make money, and that's another thing I want like let kids know. Money is not everything. It's not everything because it comes, it goes. I couldn't tell you the money I was making at 23, 24. I don't have any of it saved, right? So, you know, but I know for a fact that I could tell you what I did my first year as a professional athlete if I became one. You know what I'm saying? So money's not everything. But yeah, man, it was a journey. It was a tough one.
Awesome. Then you transition straight into coaching after that, or?
Did I transition straight into coaching? Yes. I had a former coach, Ryan Ermer. Shout out Ryan Ermer. He coached me at Ohlone College. He was the assistant coach at Ohlone College. He had an opportunity to be the head coach at San Diego High School, and it was. And this, I know God was working in this situation because me and Ryan Ermer didn't get along as player and coach. I don't even know what made him even call me. I want to believe that I was probably his last resort because because for me and him, I don't think we ever had like a bond off court. And I also, like I said, when I got to Ohlone College, I didn't really understand the game. So I don't think he was selecting me out of IQ. You know, like basketball IQ. So he called me and was like, yo, are you done with school? I had like one more semester. I had to go back to Adams State for one more semester to finish up my bachelor's. And he was like, when you're done with that, how you feel about moving to San Diego, be my assistant? And like I said, my thing was, man, I just couldn't go back to Philly. That was the only thing. Like I said, I love Philly, but I just knew it's nothing but trouble. So I was like, yeah, I'm with it. I'll do it. And right after, like, I'll never forget it, December 15th, 2009, moved right to San Diego with $500 in my pocket with a promise of $1,200 stipend for a season.
Talk about being broke.
Yeah, man, $1,200 for a season, bro. And had to look for a job. I was looking at jobs like Brereton Coat Factory and all that kind of stuff. One of the kids on the team, his dad, Adam Lacey, he was a car salesman. And he was like, yo, you come over to the dealership, we'll get you a job. And I'm like, no, I don't know anything about selling during cars. But so yeah, that's when the whole journey started. So I started coaching and I was selling cars at the same time. Selling the cars made things a little easy because it was a commission-based job. It was one of the top dealerships in San Diego, so I was able to make some good money doing that. So I didn't have that same pressure I had, like a lot of coaches have when they coaching and doing other jobs. I actually was making I was making probably about 5 figures a month off of selling cars.
Oh man.
Yeah. So I would have my practices in the morning because I was a JV coach for San Diego High School, and the kids, they wanted to have practice 6 a.m. in the morning because they wanted to do stuff after school,
Right,
whatever kids do. And that worked out perfectly for me because at 6 a.m. I coach and then I go work for the rest of the day.
Wow.
So yeah, so my coaching journey started in 2009.
Your motivation was to stay out of Philly,
Yep.
but you also have to have an inner motivation of faith to just jump to San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah, so talk about that faith journey and not knowing and just landing. Where does your faith have to be to do something like that?
You know what? I truly believe God would never take me far and just to leave me, you know? And that's how I approached it. I had a coach out there like Ryan Ermer who can kind of guide me. I actually stayed on his office couch for the first 2 months, so I didn't have too much pressure of rent. And yeah, the faith in it is just pretty much, you know, my relationship with God. I feel like I just trust him so much that, you know, like I said, me and Irma we wasn't friends or nothing like that. I wasn't his favorite player. Why is he calling me? It's God. God wanted me to go out of San Diego. Yeah. I wanted to go to San Diego. The kids embraced me. They loved me. At that time, I was still dunking. So, you know, it was like a dunk contest every day in practice.
You still ain't dunking?
No, I tore my ACL. I tore my ACL.
Don't
I ain't
tell me
dunking
that.
no more, bro.
I dunk every year just to show kids I can do it. Don't tell me you tore anything.
Yeah, I can tap the backboard still. But yeah, and once I received the love from the families, and then even just getting a job, I knew that's where I was supposed to be. Yeah. Like so, I just try to read the signs for the most part. You know, I don't think I really struggled that much. I think the first maybe 4 months of the San Diego journey was like a struggle, but I'm coming fresh out of college. I didn't have much. I only had $500. I had about 2 suitcases. I didn't have much to really move around, so I'm just starting fresh. So I'm young, you know, I got the energy for it. So, you know, I just feel like everything lined up the way it should have at the time.
Dope. Give me the 2-minute drill. All right, so in 2 minutes breakdown your coaching stops from San Diego to where you're at now.
My coaching stops?
Yep, like where you coach at and what you were doing. If you get to me in 2 minutes.
San Diego High School was my first place I coached at. Then I, you know, moved to LA, flirted with the idea of being a sports agent or whatnot. That didn't work out. Did that for 2 years. Got back into coaching, coached at El Segundo High School for about a summer. That didn't work out. Had a crazy idea to start my own program called One Goal Basketball. That worked out. Still going to this day. I'm on my 11th year with One Goal Basketball. Then I've also coached at Crossroads with my guy AD. Coached there for a few years. And so I was offered a head coaching job at Malibu High School. That didn't work out. So now I'm still with One Goal Basketball, thinking of other different ways to expand my coaching resume.
Oh,
yeah,
man, I love it. And so you flirted with being a sports agent. So you said that you tried that for 2 years. At what capacity did you try that? Were you with an agency, interning, and what did that look like? What was that?
So the internship is with moving from San Diego to LA. Now, this agency don't exist no more, but it's a big time agency called ICM, International Creative Management. And I received the acceptance for the internship in in February of that year. I was going to start in May. Got there in May. I haven't heard from them the whole time throughout these months. I just knew I was supposed to be there in May. Got there in May. The day after I arrived, they called me in to tell me they got rid of their sports department 2 weeks prior. So I ended up going into the talent agency. And remember, I always try to listen to God. I know I don't have any music talent, no comedic talent, but I do know I love helping people. So maybe this is God's way of saying, help these people now. You help them in coaching basketball, help these guys. So I did that for about 2 years, and I started to realize this is almost like a high-profile babysitting job because they really just like need you every second of the day. Then when they get in trouble, they calling you. And I was like a low level manager or agent, whatever. And I bounced around between agent, manager, worked at some boutique agencies. That my final straw with this one boutique agency, I worked there for about 3-4 months, and they would pay you out of commission, but everyone has to get paid from all the actors and commission and stuff like yeah. So my first check after 3 months was $175. I ran through my savings, everything. I had to go back to selling cars. Selling cars went to renting cars. And then that's when I was like, you know what, I gotta do what I love. And my friend Karan Johnson, he called me one day and was like, yo, why you get away from basketball, bro? You gotta get back to basketball. Why don't you train? And then from there, I was just like, all right, I'm gonna figure something out. And I went to a party. A week after or something like that, after that conversation with Karan. And a guy was like, hey, what do you do? And I was trying to, you know how LA is, I was trying to sound cool, like, yeah, I'm a trainer, you know. But this guy went and told someone else. And that following week, someone called me and said, hey, I heard you train kids. And I did, again, God just talking to me. And then I had $15 in my bank account. And I had 2 bank accounts. One was $750 and one was $750. And he was like, yo, can you train my daughter? I knew nothing about training. In fact, you know, one of our training sessions, you end up breaking her nose. Yeah. but nonetheless.
I've broken noses, I've broken arms.
Yeah.
When I first started, bro. But yeah.
Nonetheless, I realized this is where I want to be. Because I had more fun doing the training than I did in the 2 years with managing and doing the agent
babysitting.
Yeah, and I also made more money than I did in the 2 years. I made $50 that hour, and I made more money than I made being a manager and agent. So that was cool.
Man, yeah. That's dope, and that's what kicked off the whole career with.
Yep.
And then what made you? So I'm assuming this is how the training worlds work. Everybody starts telling about you. You get way more clients. Mm-hmm. Hey, we need to start a team. Mm-hmm. And so that's how you got to One Go.
You know what? I didn't know anything about club teams. I grew up where we play AAU. If you wanted to get there, if you wanted to get to the tournament, we washed cars. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't until Malik Rose, who used to play for University of Drexel and the Spurs, until he jumped in and sponsored our team.
Oh, nice.
But so I didn't know anything about people doing club or anything like that. Yes, I was training. I was training some kids, and then a fellow coach was like, yo, why don't you start a club? And I was like, what is a club? He wrote it down, wrote me everything out. I was like, oh, shoot. And I was already volunteering. I was volunteering at Palisades Rec Center coaching the kids over there. And one of the parents, Stephen Clark, he had a really good kid named Nathan Clark. They was my first family who really endorsed me and put me in front of God and put me in front of families, and the rest was history after that. Yeah.
That's dope. So you've been doing it for 11 years. What have you learned? You know, having your own program, the benefits, the pros, the cons.
You know, the benefits is you run your own thing, right? And you can kind of mold it in the way you want to see it on the court. I think that's the benefit of it. And you get it, and obviously you continue your relationship with development with players or whatnot. The cons of it is that, you know, I don't really have too many cons with it because I just take the good with the good and the bad with the bad. The Palisades area was great. Like, it's a great area, great families. They embraced me. They actually just let me do my thing. They didn't, like a lot of the parents didn't play college basketball, so they referred to me for a lot of stuff. They trusted me. So, if I had to say the cons of anything, I just didn't. I think the earlier stages, I was having too many games. I think the parents wanted too many games. They didn't like not to say they didn't like, but I don't think they understood the idea of practicing more than you played in games.
Yep.
Because the introduction of it is like rec leagues and stuff like that. So they practice one time a week and they play the game. Even if you don't come to practice, you still play the game and you still get the same trophy, the same minutes, so you lose the value of it. So when they play with me and I'm taking kids out for mistakes or countless mistakes, they looking at me like, yo, what are you doing? So I think just getting over that hurdle or that barrier of understanding that this is how the game is taught, this is how you develop players, was the toughest one. I think that would be the con if I had to say any.
Dope. Yeah. No, that's dope. Now you started this podcast, Score Society.
Yep.
What encouraged that? What message are you trying to bring with the podcast? And
so Score Society, so it comes in layers. It comes in layers. The first layer was I started out with just merch. I just wanted to get, I'm a ball short, sweatpants, sweatshirt type of guy. And I was thinking of like, how can I do something else besides just coach? And the scores part of it was the scorer's mentality, right? Like you miss shots, you got to keep shooting, and no matter what, going on, you got to still keep your confidence. You got to still keep, it's just keeping your confidence through it all, right? And there's a mentality that you can have off the court as well as a scorer. Like life happens, but you got to keep going. You got to keep having confidence. You got to keep pushing. You got to push through. You got to have some perseverance in there. And then it was the society part was just elite-minded people, right? It's being elite-minded. And I wanted to, brand it in that way. But I realized it's more than merch. I want people to hear stories. Because I think that's what we all struggled with before the internet bubble, right? We didn't know, when we went through problems, we thought we were the only one going through these problems. We thought we were the only ones that this was happening to. Like you said, you had an eligibility issue. I had an eligibility issue. I didn't know. I thought it was just me. I thought I was a fool, right. So I wanted to start interviewing people I wanted to capture the underdog story. I feel like we all are underdogs. For the vast majority of us are underdogs. There are more Division II, Division III NAIA schools than there are D1 schools. So I wanted to get that story, talk to the underdog about their story of how they overcame, with the hopes that we motivate guys. And if we can keep guys motivated, inspired, we can create a society of scorers with elite minds. So that's what it started, the podcast element of it. And I'm just enjoying the journey. Right now we throwing things to the wall and seeing if it stick. We talk about current topics. I think that's pretty cool. I like to hear people mindsets towards, whatever's going on at the time. To keep it entertaining, and then I love to hear people's stories. So that's Score Society.
Love it, man. I love it. One of your clips, it's one of your more viral clips. You state that coaches should have experience playing at a high level. And like you said, to the point of even averaging 20 points a game, like they got to go get buckets, they have to have that experience.
Right.
Where does that philosophy come from? And I'm about to argue with you, so just so you know, and it's all love.
All love.
So, where does that philosophy come from, and why do you believe it?
You know what, man? I'll be completely honest, bro. It was a heartbreaking moment for me one day. I'm coaching, I was getting ready to coach, one-goal basketball. I was getting ready to coach. And I don't know if the coach was his dad. I don't know, but the kid was like, I want to say about 10 years old. He was about 10 years old, and the coach he was on him, bro. Like he was, like he was a kid. He was chewing him out, bro. And it was just like, yo, he's a kid, man. And and obviously you have the surge of so many different programs and whatnot, and parents are now investing their money into it more than ever. And they want their kid to get to the next level, but they're working with coaches who don't understand that a 10-year-old is not a 20-year-old. They're going through a process where they're not developing properly. And what better way to at least bare minimum have someone who played at the next level to give you some type of insight. Now, is it a bulletproof plan? No, right? Like it doesn't work for everyone, right? We witnessed Magic Johnson tried to coach the Lakers before, right? and that ain't, Isaiah Thomas tried to coach the Knicks, like, so it didn't work out in his favor, but you still have some type of insight, something you can actually take with you to the next level. Like when I was growing up, like I said, Marvin DeBose and Bobby Pendleton were my coaches. Bobby Pendleton was the coach who played basketball, and he didn't go far. He didn't play in college or anything, but he was a really good shooter and he understood the game. So some of the things that he taught me at 13, 14 years old, I still use to this day and still remember to this day. Yeah. And that's the importance of it. If you got, and I think it's just the difference between being a coach, right, and being a mentor and someone who can develop. A coach is someone who comes in and they pick this player and they got a plan, right? Like we play 2-3 today, and the person or someone who develops, he's there every day. He knows exactly what you can work on, what you should be working on. He's with you through the ups, the downs, the trials, the tribulations. He's having these conversations. That's where the mentorship come in. So I just think, like, you know, players who played at the high level, they experience that. Most players I know who played at the high level, they all experience that mentor developmentship. So I think that's something they can, give to the kids.
No, that makes a lot more sense, where you're coming from. Because, for me, so I played junior college ball and wasn't a crazy scorer. Like, I played 7 minutes a game my freshman year. Sophomore year, that was it. I started my sophomore season when we did the fall ball, and then I left the school because, the coach was hating on me, which halfway he was, halfway it was my fault, whatever.
Right.
Live with it, right? And so, but the knowledge I gained, I still use some of that stuff that I learned in college. So I see what you're saying. Your experience should help you get there. I think more so, and I was just talking to this from a coach. He's an NBA coach now, and it's more about the personal development of the coaches than it is about the X's and O's almost. It's like we got to teach them how to lead, teach them how to communicate, teach them how to be operations, teach them all these little things that'll help them be able to focus on coaching the game more as well. And so that's my big thing on the coaching side is like give the coaches all the tools they need to be the leader and coach that they need to be for these kids to develop. Because it's not about you winning games. It's about these kids developing. If the kids develop the right way, you're going to win games. And then for the kids, it's about going back to what you said when you first started, is practicing more than you play.
Yep.
You have to put the reps in and understanding the game and not just cone drills and doing moves. Like you're seeing it now, even in the NBA. If you watch the Grizzlies, they don't even set pick and rolls. They do it for job, but they don't even set pick and rolls anymore. It's all movement and spacing and pure basketball, just basic concepts. And I think they're number 1 in the league in scoring, or number 3 in the league in scoring now, right? When they were like number 23 last year.
Yeah, they're up there.
And so, like, those are the things in basketball that I'm so passionate about. It's like, hey, let's get it right. Let's fix this. So I'm with the coaching certification for sure. My goal would be is like, even somebody who's walking off, if a dad is coaching at the Palisades Rec Center, he needs a certification so he knows these baseline things about coaching, even if he's never touched a basketball before. If we can give that information in a short form and 4-hour course or whatever. Hey, here's the basics. Show me that you understand this information and now implement it into what you're doing, right?
Absolutely. No, 100%. I agree with that. And it's not like a knock on anyone who don't have it, right?
Right.
It's just that it's about the kids, right? Like, me and you know each other because of that basketball right there. Yeah. I traveled, my first time on a plane was because of a basketball. I want to make sure kids have that opportunity. And if you're not being taught the right things, or if you don't understand the game in a thorough way, you're not going to have it. You're not going to be able to get on those planes. You're not going to be able to get those opportunities. So, I'm very passionate about that. I think that's something that it should be law. It should be some type of law.
No, they do it. They do it in soccer. In soccer, you have to have a license to coach at a certain level. Almost in every other sport, there's like qualifications for things. And basketball became the wild, wild west in America. where anybody who had money can start a club team. When before it was those qualified people, your coaches, the coaches I had growing up. And I think like people are in the works of it, right? You see these high level trainers have certifications and they're teaching the right things inside the certifications. It's just not, it's not mandatory for you to play in these leagues. But I think that's the direction youth basketball is going in. Just knowing the things I know and the people I know, like it's a conversation we're all having. Us true hoopers, we're all having that conversation, keeping basketball people in basketball.
Right.
And making sure that those certifications are there, making sure the kids are training the right way and not playing 8 games on the weekend.
Yep.
Parents spending $1,000 a weekend just so their kids can play in 4 games that don't matter. You know what I mean? Like changing that culture, changing that environment, I think is our goal. Like
absolutely.
Our God-given ability to do what we do with this basketball and teach kids and give them confidence and all those things is the calling of our life. We have to use this basketball to teach them about life, but doing it the right way.
Yep,
so,
absolutely.
And it leads me to this because I just want to hear you say it. I think I know what it is. Like, what do you think your purpose is? Your overall purpose?
Helping others, without a doubt. Helping others. I feel most peace, the most fulfilled when I help someone. You know, I don't like I said, I ventured into the entertainment world because I thought my journey was to help someone. I've been doing the coaching thing for 18 years, and it don't feel like 18 years. I want to start a new journey of coaching, just to help people. So, you know, I love it. I love helping people. I love helping people get to their goals. That's where one goal really came from. That's where it all came from. You got a goal, and my goal is to help you. It's one goal. You know what I'm saying? So, so yeah, that's my purpose, man. I think that's what people struggle with is finding their purpose. When you find your purpose, the best way to find your purpose is to know what motivates you and keep you excited. You know, and coaching keeps me excited. Helping people keeps me excited.
I want you to be more specific, and it may be a challenge now, right? So you say helping people because I can help people in a different way. What attribute or skill do you have personally that you know, if we walk in a room full of 10 people, that you have more impact than me at that one skill? Because like you said, finding that purpose and that thing, that's what people struggle with. You know it's helping people, right? So you know you're in the right realm. But, and I'm in this place. I'm talking to myself while I'm talking to you, is that how come I'm not more impactful? If I know my purpose, I have the same purpose as you, it's helping people. And I had to narrow it down to like, what is it specifically that I do that if I walk in this room that I can do more than anyone else?
Teach. I like teaching. Like, but I use the word coaching, but I like teaching. Like if
coaching is teaching.
Yeah, it is.
Coaching is teaching.
Coaching is teaching, but I think it can be misconstrued, right? Like because again, the average guy can go get a team and like, oh, I'm a coach. But because you put 5 players together who are better than other kids, and then you went on YouTube and you saw like different strategies and you applied it, they consider that coaching. Teaching is being more detail oriented, letting them know why you're coming out. What's the reason we're driving to the lane? What are we trying to create? Open up their palette to their mindset to the game. So if I had to say in the form of helping would be teaching. I think if I go in a room and I know something, if I know a topic, if I know a craft, I know I can teach it better than 90% of people in the room.
So what are you doing to impact more people by teaching?
Outside of basketball?
No, yes, but we'll just say with basketball, right? And it's almost a rhetorical question. It's like that thing like, hey, if you know that's what you're called to do, like let's go do that. Yeah,
right now, the Score Society, building that platform to motivate, inspire. That's the overall goal with with this platform, or as far as Score Society goes, is to inspire and motivate masses, teach them how to get over tough challenges, maybe not using my voice, maybe using other people's voice and journeys and stories. Just being strategic about it, because obviously, we live in an age where everyone wants to be entertained. So we got to find a way to entertain them in the process of doing it. So what I'm doing is creating a platform that's going to motivate and inspire and teach people how to be better people and keep elite mindsets.
That's dope, man. No, I love it, man. And I love to encourage people to, man, live in that space, man. If we all did what we were built to do, this world would be a better place. And
Absolutely.
So that's what it's all about.
Yeah, man.
Karina's Corner, you got any questions? No? Nothing? Awesome. We're going to move on to the next segment, the My Rushmore. All right, so you're Mount Rushmore, man. You're a hooper, man. So we just going to do your top 4 players of all time.
Let's do it. LeBron James. And this is in order, by the way. LeBron James.
Respect.
Jordan. Bro.
I know who you're struggling with, too. I can feel it. Go ahead.
I'm struggling with Shaq and Kobe.
Oh, wow.
I'm struggling with Shaq and Kobe. And my 4th, don't care what nobody say, Allen Iverson.
Because you're from Philly.
Yeah. But look, as far as the Shaq, I got a reason for all of them, though.
Talk to me.
So, LeBron James came straight out of high school with more pressure than anyone. He's been more consistent than everyone. He's exceeded expectations. People may say, oh, well, he lost in the finals and everything else, but he's been there half his career. That's more than a lot of guys.
Man.
So, obviously, he changed the game. He changed the way we look at the game. You're talking about a guy who's 6'9", 260 pounds, can move with the speed of light, can pass the ball, super athletic, developed his jump shot over the years, can hit a jump shot, great leader. The knock on him is a super team. He was a superstar on the super teams.
Talk to him.
Okay, so he, MVPs and all the other accolades, so I give him that. Jordan, another guy, revolutionized the game, was an amazing player. The only couple of reasons why he's my second, not my first. One is, if you go back and look at them years they won it in the 90s, he was the only 2-guard on the top 5 scorers those seasons. Like, he was the only guard. It was a big man era. So he wasn't going against what LeBron was going against. He wasn't going against what LeBron
Clyde
was going against.
Drexler.
Clyde Drexler was in his decline. He was in his decline, bro.
He won 2 chips when he left.
Who?
Clyde.
Clyde won 2 chips when?
With Houston, no?
Oh, with Houston, but he had Hakeem Olajuwon was the guy. Hakeem Olajuwon was the guy on that team.
Okay.
So Clyde Drexler was robbing, bro.
It was a big man's league.
It was a big man league. And then Jordan quit 3 times. he look, the first time he left the league, he said he wasn't motivated. He was that's a true press conference. He wasn't, and I understood why he wasn't. I know his dad was murdered or whatnot. Then he came back, he did his thing, but my point in that is that he took breaks. LeBron was consistent, he didn't take no breaks. He didn't even get injured, so he didn't take no breaks. So I gotta give him that. Shaq and Kobe. Now, personally, I feel like Shaq would be the best of all time now I don't like to use if, but I'm gonna use it. If he could make free throws, if he's at a 12-foot jump shot, just a 12-foot, 15-foot jump shot. But you think about it, he averaged 30 points, averaged over 35 points in the finals of them three-peats, and 15 rebounds with no threes, no free throws, and barely on a fast break. So that means he had the most predictable game that you could ever think of and still dominated.
Yep.
Obviously, Kobe, I love his brand as far as like work ethic, right? Like, here's a guy who came in the league off the bench, worked his way up to the top. His brand inspired many, because everyone now feels like all I gotta do is outwork people. All I gotta do is outwork people to get to where I want to be. I got the Mamba mentality. So it's just a tie between those two because of that. And then Allen Iverson, bro. Allen Iverson, in the 90s, he was the first guard outside of Jordan to average 27 points, coming straight out of college. Oh, no, it wasn't straight out of college. That was 2 years later out of college. But revolutionized the game, made guys feel if you was under 6 foot, made you feel like you could make the league. he helped and hurt the game too, in a way, because every guard thought they could score at that point. Every guard at like 5'9", 5'10", wanted to play like Allen Iverson. So, and when they get to college, that wasn't their role. But Allen Iverson, yeah, I love that he stood his ground on being himself off the court and made a tremendous impact on the game in Philadelphia. Philadelphia at that time, I mean, Jerry Stackhouse was pretty good. Maybe a Derek Coleman was pretty good, but the last big star was like Dr. J. And for me growing up, I mean, I was born in 85. Dr. J was done by like 86, 87, I believe. Yeah. So you figure we didn't have nothing to cheer about like with like a Allen Iverson type until, 10, 11 years later. And he inspired so many kids to play basketball. So I'm going to definitely give it to Allen Iverson on the fourth.
Respect. Definitely respect the 4.5, 5,
Yes. Yeah, I don't, if I had to eliminate Kobe or Shaq, I eliminate Kobe.
Woo!
I'm eliminating Kobe.
Man, you in LA with that.
Bro.
Hit him in the comments.
Okay. Listen, if Shaq had a jumper at some capacity, he would have definitely been the greatest of all time.
It's a very interesting concept.
I'm trying to tell you, but you talking about a guy who averaged 30 points with no free throws. Come on,
50% free
bro.
throws.
That's gold.
Man, my number one is LeBron. For all the reasons that you said. I've been blessed with the opportunity to work with him for the last 5 years in the summer, at least once, if not more times. And so this is how he approaches the game. Yeah. There's nobody more prepared than LeBron. Comes in, he beats everybody to the gym no matter what time it is. He stays an hour after to get his body worked on. Like his level of commitment to this game should be our level of commitment to God first and foremost. But to whatever we do, like if we did it on the level of excellence that LeBron does for this game, man, we would be some successful people. Absolutely. And so that's my respect for him is that he's a like savant. Like he knows the game. Like I was watching this clip the other day on TikTok, and it was all his handshakes. Like this dude memorizes every handshake with every teammate ever. Yeah. Like, yo, how does he do? Like he literally is that smart, and he remembers everything, and he doesn't forget. He's calling. We'll be in training sessions like, oh no, that's the play they ran in the playoffs, game 5, blah blah blah. They did that to us, and he literally has this crazy memory with that kind of stuff, and
he got documented, man. I mean, this is in the age. I wish he could just have a day in the life, just so he can show.
Oh no, he has multiple.
He does.
When he shot Space Jam 2, we were training him every day. They built the gym on the Warner Brothers lot for us to train him in, and we documented the whole thing. Oh wow! And so I think it's all going to come out like later.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
Like so, there's cameras all the time. Like he has. I think it's just they saving it, right? There's no reason to put it out now because he's a show. Right. It's just when he retires, it's like, oh, check out LeBron's life, his first 10 years in the league, now his next 10 years, whatever. But he has all that. I think we're going to see all that and experience all that for sure. So, yeah, LeBron's my GOAT. Right. And it's changed. Jordan was my GOAT for a long time until it was even after I started working with LeBron. It was probably like 2 years after that where it was like, nah, yo, he got it. And
yeah, I don't understand. Like I said, I love Jordan. I just feel like the game has evolved so much. It's hard to really just it's hard to say like someone is still better than what the game is right now. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like music, right? Like I love Biggie, but I don't know if Biggie would have adapted to all the changes of music, but I know Jay-Z did. You know what I mean? So I got to put Jay-Z first. You know, so it's one of those things where it's like it's not a slight against Jordan. It's just the fact that someone just did it longer, and he survived and flourished and
still getting triple-double.
Yeah, he's still flourishing, bro. Like at 40 years old, like I said, I can barely touch the backboard, and you talking about a guy 40 years old.
Dunked on somebody last night, like what? Like what?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, so
off of oops,
right,
you know.
right.
So it's like it's silly to even think like the game hasn't evolved where Jordan's skill set hasn't been met yet. That doesn't make sense to me.
No, 100%. And then and Jordan's mentality about the game is what I think made him. He's just a super competitor. Like you ain't going. There's nothing you could do about Jordan.
Right.
And so, and then man, my number 3 is actually Steph Curry, man.
Really?
Man, you talk about work ethic. You talk about underdog. You talk about
true.
all those
Very
things,
true.
right? And it's not a knock on AI because AI is the reason that I started working on my handles and modeled my game after, like, for sure AI, right? We knew AI was good though. We didn't know Steph Curry was good until he was good, and then he had early on ankle injuries, overcame them, and still became this superstar, best shooter of all time by far, not even close. And I think it gave people who aren't quick, like AI for us, because we was athletic, right? If you wasn't athletic, you couldn't act like AI.
Nope.
You couldn't.
Nope.
But Curry gives everyone that opportunity, right? Like, yo, I could be Steph Curry if I work hard on my jump shot and work on these things, right? And he just changed the game because of where he can shoot from and his way of doing it, man.
I agree with that. Steph Curry has the most relatable game. I think the hardest thing about LeBron is that you can't pretend to be LeBron. You can't be 6'9", 260, you struggling.
With 50-inch vertical or whatever
you're
you
not
got.
doing that. But Curry, a kid, you can actually, I think he inspired the youth. Maybe more than Allen Iverson. But I'm still keeping Allen Iverson my 4th. But Steph Curry definitely has the most relatable game in NBA history, I think.
And I think it's gonna be felt after he retires, right? It's, and weird comparison, but we respect rappers more after they pass away, right? It is what happens, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Because now we're reflecting on everything they did. I don't think old heads, people older than our generation, reflect on what LeBron is doing now.
Right.
They won't be able to see until he's done.
Yep.
And the same thing with Curry is like, yo, when we go back and watch these highlights and see all these crazy games he had and see what he did at 6'3" and light skin, dog, we gonna be like, yo, he got it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
and then fourth is Kobe.
Yeah.
Baby Jordan, man, he took what Jordan did and ultra skilled it out. And took it to the next level. He's a dog on defense. And I loved Kobe when he first came to the league. I did not like him when he went through his protagonist phase where he was trying to piss everybody off, the Black Mamba phase. I actually didn't like him. And then once his last 2 years in the league, like, I started like, oh man, this dude is way too good.
Right.
Like, seeing how he like me maturing and seeing how he reads the game and what he's able to do and all those things. It's like, all right, he got it. Like, he has mastered this game more than anybody. Same thing, like, everybody plays, oh, he's trying to be like Jordan, but why not copy the best?
Right.
And be better than him. Like, he literally had every movement Jordan had, every celebration Jordan had to the T, and probably did it better than him.
Yeah, that's why I didn't like him.
Right, me neither. Yeah.
Like, dude,
I was like, yo,
how
bro.
you gonna copy and paste his game, bro?
but it worked. You know what I mean?
It worked for sure. It definitely worked.
That's what he's doing. It's like, yo, I'm going after the best, so I'm gonna take what he has and make it better.
Yeah.
And he loved the game, man. Playing through torn Achilles, broken fingers, broken shoulders, shooting with his left hand. Like, yo, he gave his all. And so, those are my top 4, and those are my top 4. Like, no bias, just on some basketball stuff. Those aren't my favorite 4 players, but those are the top 4 for me.
Nah, I think that's a fair. I think that's a fair 4. I think that's definitely fair. I mean, that's definitely key what you said about Steph Curry, though. I thought about that, but he's still not. He's top 10 for sure.
Whoa, dang, top 10 is low.
I mean, top 5.
Yeah.
Is he top 5? Is Curry top 5?
Is he? Because you got 4. You have 5.
I'm not
in your
putting him
top 5
over.
already.
I'm not putting. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That 5 right there is my top 5.
Okay.
I put Curry 6. Can we put Curry 6?
Can you?
I can put Curry 6.
He's better than KD. He's better than
he's better than KD.
Jokic right now.
You know what? I got like a bone to pick with like the European style stuff. Because here's the thing with the Jokic thing. Jokic is great. It's not a big man era, so I can't never say he's gonna be the best big man of all time, right? I had like Stephen Graham on my show. He used to play for he was the journeyman in the NBA. He was saying Jokic is the best big man of all time. and I had to disagree with him. And the reason why is because, like, I'm big on guys making impact right away. Shaq made an impact right away, right? Most of the European players, including Jokic, develop for 4 or 5 years in the league. So they have no pressure. They have no, like, there's no pressure on them to be good. Most players don't even, the average fan right now don't remember who's the first pick of the 2025 draft or 2024 draft. But they remember who the 55th pick was, right? So they don't have the same pressure. So when I have to compare, like, a Jokic being better than Shaq, like, Shaq had way more pressure than him, and he handled it. And it flourished. You still see Shaq on the TV to this day. Jokic is amazingly skilled, so he's definitely up there for sure. Because I'm not going to slight him because he didn't, be a great player from the beginning, but I'm not going to, I'm not going to take nothing away from his skill set. He's definitely better than most big men that we've seen over the years. But
so you think Shaq is better than Jokic?
Yeah, for sure. Impact-wise, dominate-wise, like I said, he had the most predictable game. Shaq had the most predictable game and still was getting 36 in the playoffs. And that big man era, Jokic is not even in the big.
It's hard. I think it's harder for Jokic.
You think Jokic would be the same player right now if he had to go against David Robinson, Tim Duncan?
He's doing it against Giannis. Who else is in there?
Him and I gotta see that I gotta see him and Giannis matchup. I gotta see them stats. That's a good one. I gotta see how they actually play against each other.
He's way more versatile. He
Very
can
versatile.
shoot the three.
Shoot the three.
Shaq was a good passer. People, I think, underrate how good of a passer Shaq was. But Jokic is the best passing big man ever.
Right.
I mean, like, and his ability to go out there and just get triple doubles, and he's doing it with a dad bod, makes a difference to me. Like, that's like saying, just like you saying Shaq can do it because he couldn't make free throws. Like, yo, if Jokic got in shape, who would he be?
I agree. Like I said, I ain't taking that away from him. He's up there for sure. He's just not playing against a good big night in and night out. Shaq was playing against a good big night in and night out. The top 5 scorers in the league in the 90s outside of Jordan was big men.
Shaq was good more. Shaq
He
was
ain't
better
playing-
in the 2000s, though.
You say again?
Shaq was better in the 2000s. That's when he won all his chips.
Yeah, he was better in his 2000s. That's what I'm saying. Like, Shaq had a strong decade of dominance. Jokic
He's on his way to a decade. He's just won. He's three-time MVP.
3-time MVP.
And probably, not probably, he may get fourth this year.
He got one ring.
One ring so far.
He got drafted in 2015.
Right.
If
We're at year 9 with 3 MVP. How many MVPs Shaq got?
he got one. You got one, right?
Oh, okay.
But they gave it to Steve Nash one year. Steve Nash averaged 15
That was
points.
Kobe. That was Kobe's year. That was the year Kobe dropped like 40 points, 12 straight. Yeah, that was weird. That wasn't even Shaq's year. That was when Shaq was in Miami, right? That was 2006.
Yeah, but Kobe didn't make the playoffs that year.
Don't matter what he was doing. What he was doing on the court, man. It don't matter.
That was the year he had 81.
Wild.
But Kobe didn't make the playoffs that year.
But you couldn't do anything with him, even not making the playoffs.
I agree. That's when Kobe started to emerge. I think that's when Kobe started to, all right, it became the Kobe era. It is the Jokic era. Is it the Jokic era right now?
Yes.
You think so?
It has, all the MVPs, you have to
Yeah,
we're attracted to what looks like us. I think that's what it is, right? We want to see the young black guard be the best player. Like, I want to see Anthony Edwards thrive. I don't want to see Jokic play. I don't turn on Denver Nugget games. I don't.
That's because we don't. It ain't even about like we want to see someone look like us. We just don't know their story. Like I said, they develop in the league. So they can get drafted and go under the radar for the next 4 years, and we never know who they are. We knew AI got into that fight at the bowling alley. We knew him in Georgia. I went to Kobe Bryant game. I went to LeBron James game when he played against Strawberry Mansion. I remember picking up that magazine in the lunchroom with LeBron James on there as an 8th grader. We watched them the whole way through, so we seeing everything. These guys, I mean like players from overseas, they're not really, we don't know who they are, so it's really hard to connect to them other than their skill set. And Jokic has an amazing skill set. Is he top So you think he's better than Kareem?
It's hard for me to do the Kareem thing because he's so old. I never seen
I
Kareem
agree.
play,
I agree.
and so I'm not feel fit to answer that question.
I agree.
I believe his skill set has a wider range than Kareem's.
I agree.
That old school big man had moves that you couldn't do anything with Shaq's power. You couldn't do anything with Kareem's hook. You know what I mean?
Like, Hakeem Olajuwon had the footwork.
Yeah. So to me, if you talk about skill, Hakeem has the best footwork.
Yeah, he has the best footwork
ever. He's better than guards at the footwork.
But see, here's the thing: with Jokic, he can shoot the three, but it's hard to really compare for the old school big men because they wasn't allowed to shoot. You remember back in the day, like if a big man started dribbling more than three steps,
though.
Could they not? I feel like Kevin Garnett definitely could handle the ball.
He couldn't shoot threes. He was a mid-range killer though. He could not shoot threes to save his life.
Couldn't shoot threes? No, he could shoot threes, bro. He didn't consistently shoot them.
Exactly, because he couldn't.
That just wasn't part of the game back then. See, that's the thing. Certain stuff wasn't part of the game because it wasn't introduced to us yet.
Who
like
made, okay,
Karl
who
Malone
made
was
threes?
LeBron James was in the Karl Malone body. Like
that's Karl Malone's fault for staying on the block. That's what I'm saying. Because Magic did it. Magic did it in the 80s.
Magic did what?
He was a point guard at 6'9".
Yeah, Magic. Yeah, those was like the anomalies though. Like that wasn't like the makeup of it.
Exactly, he did it though.
He definitely did.
He's who inspired the LeBron James, right? So I'm saying if you were that good, you could step out. Like Lamar Odom was the first like stretch or point forward, right? He just did it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It wasn't the people who do it are the one. Curry was the first one shooting threes from that deep, that consistently. There was other people who shot threes from deep, but he did it consistently to impact the game different.
I just think like it depends on the coaching at that time. I depended on the coach. Like there was a lot of good fast guards, but Larry Brown, the Sixers organization, literally surrounded him with just guys who played defense and guys who hit open shots. Mm-hmm. I think it's just a matter of the situation. I don't like it'd be hard for me to think that Kevin and Garnett could make a 20-foot jump shot but couldn't take two more steps back and shoot a three. Like it just wasn't part of the game. Like I just don't think it was. Tim Duncan is super skilled. Tim Duncan can shoot a three. It just.
Can he?
Greg Popovich is an old school coach. Jerry Sloan for the Utah, they was old guys. Right now is like even the coaches down are younger.
Right.
The coaches are younger, so the game. So that's what I'm saying. The game has changed so much, or even around the coaching. So the coaching now allows more. Like when I first started coaching, as a youth ball coach, it was certain things I wasn't working on. Now I am working on threes with an 11-year-old or whatnot, So it just changed. I don't want to. I mean, granted, we can't go right? So we won't give it to Jokic being the second or third big man of all time.
Who's number two?
I'm still giving Shaq, and I'm like.
And Hakeem?
No, we ain't gonna give Hakeem. I ain't gonna do Jokic like that. I put Jokic in there. I give Jokic the second one, but I'm still putting Shaq first.
All right. No, I think I'm gonna go back and watch film and like really, really break that down because I understand what you're saying. Like I just feel like great players change everything, right? Yeah. AI changed everything, like Ross and Jordan. Like hip hop is here. Like this culture is in the league now, and ain't nothing you can do to slow it down. And that's why we have, like if you watch Curry's game, he's AI. With a 3-point shot. Like, people don't see that. Like all his crossovers are AI crossovers. Like, but let's move on to the next segment, man. I love talking basketball. Welcome to Sports Center. No, Fix the Net, man. A misconception about Sean Amos that you want to make clear, man. So let us know what that is.
Fix the Net.
Well, you got to tell us what it is. Tell us what the truth, and then fix the net.
Over the years, as a coach, somebody I've heard being mean or stern. And that is not true. I'm not mean or stern. I just want to get the best out of the players. And it's really hard to balance a joking, playful attitude with young players and still get what's needed, right? So I try to go, and I have other coaches under me, So I try to go in as like the bad cop. You know, as a good cop, bad cop. I try to create a balance. So I'm not mean. Or stern. I just want to produce what's important at the time. Now, when practice is over, I'm joking. I'm playing around. I'm goofing off. I stay. You know, I play the kids one-on-one here and there. But when I'm in the coaching mode, I want to make sure that, you know, we do what we're supposed to do. And it's two sides of it. One, because I want to make sure they understand what needs to be done. The second side of it is that, you know, parents is paying money, and I want to make sure I'm producing a good product on the court for them. So that's a misconception.
Go ahead and fix the net. Oh, he didn't fix it. Oh, he mean, y'all. The net didn't get fixed. First time ever.
The ball don't lie.
In our last segment, man, we flipped the script. 2 questions for me. It could be anything.
Yeah, man. I want to know, you know, you told me a little bit about you playing junior college, right? And you told me a little bit about your programs. What made you start your program if you didn't have a good experience on the college level or the junior college?
Yeah, same. I think it's the same thing, man. Not having the right information. I had a Division II offer my senior year and didn't take it because my pops was like, "Oh, you got Division I's looking at you." I had some Division I's who were interested but not calling me. They were telling my coach that we're watching him, and the D2 offer was right before the season started, and I should have took it. Like the coach loved me, he wanted me. It was a great fit, and would have been a great college experience. And so, you know, not taking that offer. I went to junior college, had a terrible experience in junior college, and not believing in myself, not having the right information about academic stuff, and like all those things led me to never playing college basketball again. And so I never wanted that to happen to any of the kids that I worked with. And me training came from just like, I just loved it. Like you said, like once I got out there and I was teaching the kids something, and you see, I'm like, then I could see, and I could still do it, where I see instant improvement in the kid with the things I teach, right? Because it's just fundamentals. Like simple rip throughs, jump stops, and shooting form will change anybody's game. Like it doesn't take a lot to get a kid to start gaining confidence and understanding that they can play this game if they work hard. Right. And so seeing those results from the kids and seeing how motivated they were to work out with me, and we was out in the sun and at the park, you know, first starting off. And so seeing that is what just kept me going. And then a little fire lit under me. I had just gotten married and I got fired from my job as a financial advisor. And so I had to go make money. And so that basketball was right there. I'm like, yo, let me train and get things going. And so 4 clients turned into 60 clients in 8 months.
Wow.
Boom. And I was like, oh, well, I ain't doing, like, I'm making more money than I would, you know, short term as a financial advisor. Long term would probably make more, but it just kept growing. And just seeing kids reap the benefits of their own hard work is what it's about for me. And my ability to communicate. I'm answering the question that I asked you earlier. My ability to communicate to people is my strength. Like I know what to say, how to say it to different kids because of how I was raised. I was raised in a house where there's a bunch of different people there all the time. My mom was the caretaker. So I know how to communicate to different people in different spots to get them motivated to do what they need to do in their life. And so, and I did it on the basketball court, where I do it best. Nice. And so just continuing to see that, and man, it's led to me owning a program that's kind of revolutionary in the way we operate. There's not many schools and programs that do what CORE does on the middle school level, and the success those kids have after they leave the program, and how they, that was the best time of my life was middle school. Like I love hearing, I hope they have better times after middle school, but it's literally their best time of their life because they're growing, learning, getting better, creating relationships. And yeah, man, just seeing people go reach their goals, man, that's it. So.
And my second question, Elevate Your Game podcast, where do you see it 5 years from now?
5 years? 5 years, I see it being one of the top podcasts in the space. I believe that what we're talking about and the people I'm talking to is who the basketball community needs to hear. And it's no disrespect to the other basketball-based podcasts out there. This is the real, though. This is real people's journeys and real information that people need to navigate life if they're in this basketball space. And I think it's going to catch fire and people are going to go back. Like my first episode was Katino Mobley.
Yeah.
Like who? Yo, I'm starting this podcast. Oh, I'm on. Matt Barnes called me to be on this podcast. Like they're going to go back and listen and hear this information, and we're just creating an archive, right? We're in season 3, huh? Low key. Almost? Yeah. Okay. We're almost in season 3 of this and doing it for almost 2 years now straight. And the guests that we've had on this show, it's been extraordinary, man. Just hearing the journey and the information is like, man, we got to organize this when we're talking about the junior college experience. So many people didn't qualify to go Division I who sat in that chair. And so like, we need to organize that and put it out. And so yeah, just being one and my goal is to find the expertise. That's the next part. Is like, I want to narrow this down. So like your expertise, like first off, I think you know this, but you're a salesman. Like you're a heck of a communicator and salesman. And
thanks, bro.
Yeah, no, that's why you're successful with this. Like, because you know how to sell, and it's real. It's not you trying to get over on somebody. You actually selling a product that somebody needs. And so, like, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about your sales experience and how you relate that to basketball. Like, that's your expertise. So I want to focus in more on the expertise of our guests. And so, bigger, like our production, right? We're working on other projects outside of just this podcast now that we're getting going in 2025. That should be super dope, super informative, same impact. We want to tell people stories in order to encourage this next generation to reach their goals. And people love this show. Like the fans of this really show are the fans of this show, and I don't care who else listens to it. But I know it'll reach everybody who needs to hear it, and that's what it's about for me.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Yeah, I got a chance to watch a couple episodes, and then you actually doing really good as far as like conveying people's stories and getting the information out there. So I'm very grateful that you had me on the show.
No, absolutely,
appreciate
man.
it.
No, thanks.
Definitely gonna connect after this. So
yeah, no, absolutely. 24-second shot clock. That's your camera right there. Tell the people where they can find you and any message that you have for them.
Yes, you can find me on Scores_Society. That's pretty much it. All that's on all platforms: YouTube, Instagram, Scores_Society, and stay motivated, stay focused, and continue to think elite and together. That's all I have.
Man, thanks for coming on the show, bro.
Appreciate your time.
Yes, sir. That's all we have for you today, folks. We'll see you next time. Peace.